Hi everyone, Miss Moxley here for your Wednesday recording. I've got the agenda up here. Of course, you have your recording today. You need to complete the viruses lesson and quiz. Tomorrow you have your classification of living things exam. And then on Friday you have your cells lesson and quiz. In terms of studying for your exam, the best things to study for your exam is going to be to go back through your old quizzes, see what questions you got wrong, why you got them wrong, determine if you can find the correct answer for those questions that you got wrong, and then of course review the ones that you got correct. So you want to make sure that you take some time to review for that exam today. Take your notes home if you need to, study for that exam, make sure that you're prepared. What I want to talk about today is the fungi lesson. So if we're looking at the fungi lesson, your objectives are to identify fungi, recognize their main characteristics, and give examples of each. And then your keywords are fungi, fungus, and mushrooms. And I've got a couple of notes here for you guys that I want to look at today. So fungi contain no chlorophyll and cannot make their own food. So chlorophyll are an important organelle in plants. Plants have to have chlorophyll in terms of photosynthesis and creating their own energy. So we transform the sun's energy in plants through the process of photosynthesis, and plants then are able to create their own energy. So with fungi, they have no cellulose in their cell wall. Instead, they have chitin. So plants have cellulose in their cell wall. It's what makes them stiff and rigorous in terms of their cell wall. Fungi, unlike plants, have chitin, which is similar to the structure in insects. It's found in the cell wall of insects. So this is why fungi are classified in their own division instead of classified in the division with plants. So fungi obtain their own nutrients from other living and dead organisms and are considered decomposers for the most part. So we do have other types of fungi. We have parasitic fungi and we do have mutualistic fungi. But for the most part, when you think of fungi, you guys probably think of decomposers. And fungi thrive in a moist environment and have to have water to reproduce. So water to some extent to reproduce. When we're talking about the different types of fungi, parasitic and mutualistic. So parasitic funguses that can make us sick or cause rashes or irritation. They have to have moisture as well. And then mutualistic, such as lichens and other symbiotic fungi, they have to have water as well to thrive and survive. Now, some examples of fungi are yeast, molds, and mushrooms, so you guys may be familiar with those. When we're talking about yeast, and specifically store-bought yeast, it's an inactive organism that can become active when mixed with water and sugar. So there's their moist environment with the warm water, and then the sugar is their food. So the yeast use the sugar as food and start to reproduce in that warm environment, that warm, wet environment. Yeast is used in the creation of bread. It gives off CO2, carbon dioxide, allowing the dough to rise and giving bread its fluffy texture. So that holy texture that we have in bread is caused by this carbon dioxide that's given off by yeast. Now, fungi, in terms of parasitic fungi, can cause things like athlete's foot and ringworm. So these are all created in moist environments on the body. Now, before we wrap it up here, those are just the notes that I had for you guys in terms of fungi. I want to look at this diagram of fungi with you guys. So this resembles the shape of a mushroom, but it shows you the different parts of a mushroom. So we have the reproductive structure, which is the fruiting body. We have the hyphae running throughout the fruiting body and the reproductive structure. We have the mycelium, which is found underground. And then we have the spores. And the spores are part of reproduction. So when we're looking at this diagram, you can think of the mycelium as roots, but also understand that as the mycelium grow with these spores, they can create new structures above ground. So new reproductive structures, new fruiting bodies above ground as they grow. So multiple fruiting bodies, multiple mushrooms can be seen off of a single set of intertwined mycelium. Now, with hyphae, what we need to understand is that with hyphae, when we're talking about our decomposers, our hyphae secrete acids and digestive enzymes. And these acids and digestive enzymes, what they do is they help to break down dead and decomposing organisms, and they help return nutrients back to the soil. So it's important when we're talking about hyphae that we understand their role and structure in terms of decomposing and returning nutrients back to the soil. All right, guys, so that is it for today in terms of fungi. If you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out. Be sure that you're studying for your exam, which is tomorrow. And Friday, you have your notebook check, so be sure that you've got your notes for every day of this week. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and I will see you guys again on Monday.